Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there, welcome back.
As always, guys, we welcome you to go and explore evolutionaryenergyarts.com.
Indeed.
And also to join us on the Patreon family. And we just posted this timeline alert change over on Patreon. Again, you could join for as little as just $1 a month. There are different tiers with different benefits to them. And we have Elon saying the U.S. government deleted a terabit of financial data to cover their crimes. But they don't understand technology, so we recovered it. Okay, yeah. There's a lot of change coming. And when we're talking about change, financial change is imminent. That is for sure. This was a post from yesterday. Somebody is going to be arrested tomorrow. This is Elon again. He actually stole 400,000 Social Security numbers and personal information from Social Security database and was selling Social Security numbers in order for people to basically steal money from Social Security. Ooh, we'll see where that is going to lead to. Don't forget, it feels as though the system is trying to erase everything it possibly can erase. As Elon was just talking about, erasing all sorts of financial information. Well, again, here you have Terry Dolan. We talked about him yesterday. His plane happened to crash into a home. Was that just another random plane accident or not? This is, again, a U.S. bank executive, also on the board at Catholic Charities. We have a former Bloomberg executive, his wife, and their 9-year-old daughter found dead in South Carolina home. Greer, South Carolina, which is northeast of Greenville. This is a relatively good area. And, they were, as you see, a wealthy couple with their young daughter found dead in their home. He was 54, she was 45. What happened? What happened here? What really happened? Bloomberg's all about finances and financial. You got to wonder, was there something that they knew, what he knew? Was there something that he knew that certain people didn't want coming out because something is so close to happening in the financial world that will maybe reset us in order to implement a all new system?
It's really unfortunate. There's some things that I saw that I don't feel comfortable talking about because I feel that they're private, but this is a very ugly thing that's happening.
Yeah, it really reminds me of all those naturopathic DRs that left the world, very early, some by accident, some official causes of death were various things, but there was such a number of naturopaths that all of a sudden left the world over a time frame leading up to the plague upon the land. Now, you have this, and this could very well be an April Fool's joke. This is from number 47. I'm ending all the tariffs today against China, Canada, and Mexico. There will be no reciprocal tariffs either. God bless America. Again, it's April 1st, guys. It's April 1st. Everybody is talking about the tariffs. And here you see $600 billion expected to be brought into the U.S. Treasury during the first year of Trump's tariffs. A lot of people are banking on the IRS going away. Others say it'll never go away. It'll go away at some point in time. The whole system's going to go away. It's collapsing now as we watch it. Alabama Senator Tommy Tuberville to introduce Financial Freedoms Act, which will allow Americans to invest their retirement funds into crypto. Now, there's a lot of division in the crypto camp and then in the non-crypto camp. What is really going on with that? By the way, Donald Trump Jr. and his brother Eric made a huge stock market play in hopes to corner the booming market. Two of President Trump's sons have invested in a Bitcoin mining venture. No, not actual mining. This is, again, a different type of mining. But, the hopes are to strengthen the family and its ties into the industry of, again, crypto. Don Jr. and Eric Trump announced on Monday the launch of American Bitcoin, which will join forces with already established Bitcoin mining company Hut 8. Eric will become the chief strategy officer of the new firm, which will focus on mining Bitcoin and aims to ultimately become publicly listed. Bitcoin mining is the process of validating transactions and using mathematical equations to add to the blockchain. It requires immense computer power, and Hut 8 runs sprawling computer data centers with high-powered servers to get the job done. From the start, we've backed our conviction in Bitcoin personally and through our businesses, Don Jr. said in a statement. But simply buying Bitcoin is only half the story. Mining it on favorable economics opens up even bigger opportunity. Trump has been transparent about his desire to make America the crypto capital of the planet. He promised to be the crypto president who will popularize its mainstream use in America, despite once being a crypto skeptic himself, who described Bitcoin as a scam at one point in time. So what is really going on there? He says he backs the crypto because it can improve the banking system and increase the dominance of the U.S. dollar. At the same time, the Trump family, long known for skyscrapers and country clubs, rapidly gained hundreds of millions of dollars through their crypto investments. Eric and Don Jr. outlaid their bold vision for the future of their new venture in the statement on Hut 8. American Bitcoin aims to become the world's largest, most efficient, pure play miner while building a robust strategic Bitcoin reserve. Initially, American Bitcoin results will be consolidated within the company's financial statements for reporting purposes. Hut 8 will serve as American Bitcoin's exclusive infrastructure and operations partner. The partnership combines Hut 8's proven mining operations, cost-efficient infrastructure development capabilities, and disciplined approach to capital allocation with Eric Trump's commercial acumen, capital markets expertise, and commitment to advancement of decentralized financial systems, DeFi there. Providing the family's commitment to the sector, Trump and Melania even launched 2 separate meme coins on Inauguration Day. This is another big thing here. It just seems like everybody is either very for or very against it. They will tell you that less than 1% of the planet's population has any sort of investment in crypto, but then again, most people don't have investment in the stock market. Now, you see here this little thing, Bitcoin dies, silver flies. And this is from David Bateman. David Bateman is a billionaire, and this is a statement that he makes. Here are the reasons I invested close to $1 billion in precious metals over just the last 6 months, including the purchase of 1.5% of the annual global silver supply, 12.69 million ounces. The global monetary system is about to collapse. The Great Reset, or the Basel Endgame. The biggest credit bubble in history is going to pop, $300 trillion. There is no way the U.S. can refinance its $28 trillion in maturing treasuries in the next 4 years without an obscene amount of printing. Trump tariffs are hastening the collapse, and it's by design. Again, the Polish psychic Christoph had spoke about there's going to be some sort of dip, and he was seeing, if memory serves me right, I think he was seeing April, May-ish for a first type of dip, and then the big one hitting somewhere. He keeps getting the 8th month, so he was thinking August, but it might be October, somewhere in that second part of the year. The real big collapse literally happens. Now, he says that it will be triggered by the U.S., so we can look to the tariffs as being possibly what is, as this billionaire says, hastening the collapse. Absolutely by design. Gold and silver are the only meaningful life raft. They're the only meaningful life raft. Physical possession is everything. Again, if you own paper certificates, you own paper certificates. If the company goes down, what are you going to do? Are you insured? And do we trust, FDIC insurance when the entire company, because it is USA Inc. after all, is in financial duress? Don't companies file for bankruptcy? Well, the United States incorporated again, 1871, and again we could look to the Wilson regime, and we could look to the Titanic and the bankers that went down with the Titanic that were opposed to the Federal Reserve. It all ties together. Now, this billionaire says crypto is a psyop. And he says the whole world right now is in a sophisticated game of musical chairs. The chairs are precious metals. So as far as crypto, again, he thinks those that purchase it will have no chair when the music stops. Real estate, crypto, stocks, and bonds will all lose significantly compared to precious metals. The banking system has been meticulously designed to seize your assets to buoy up a collapsing banking sector. See the great taking. You have zero counterparty risk with precious metals. He says, I'm up 20% already on most of my purchases. This is not a drill. Your grandkids someday will either muse or lament this financial decision you're now faced with. Don't fail them. Not financial advice, for education purposes only. As you see tons of silver there. So, here you go. Well, now he has a vested interest in propping up those markets, because he just told you he just put $1 billion into the precious metals market. Do you trust any billionaires? I would be hesitant to trust any billionaires. April 1st, remember. So it's April Fool's Day. Now, silver, this is talking about silver being even more precious than gold. Silver is now rarer than gold and will be for all eternity. From this point forth, we will work from a current silver production alone, and from this point forth, demand will outstrip production without exception. So when you look at it, what they say is, in this article, they're talking about how silver is being used in industrial manufacturing. And that's only going to increase, and there's nowhere near enough of it, and it's not being replaced at a fast enough pace to keep up with the need for what's coming and going to be used in an industry. And silver is artificially deflated, which we all know. So what is the real, price value of silver? That's, again, something that we each have to weigh for ourselves and what we're going to do. Again, I just don't trust, obviously, the banking system. The banking system is the system. It is the dark matrix. And the thought with some is that crypto is something that has been against the banking system because it's decentralized. So, no one particular country owns it per se. And you're banking on the fact that all those usual families like the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds don't own it. But then again, when we look to where did Bitcoin come from in the first place? We don't know. It's a figure that is shadowy and fictional. And I mean, did it really come from DARPA? Or did it come from a true white hat? This is what everybody has to weigh for themselves. And again, we are not financial advisors.
No, we're not financial advisors. We are just doing our best and following those doors that get opened up for us, following those visions when that information comes and it's strong enough and you have a certain gut for it, then you move forward on it. And when you have, it's everyone has their own individual path, and I think that's what this life is about. It's about clearing up the traumas to a degree where you know where you're going, which way you're headed, because you can see past the traumas. But then there's a little bit of a tricky point where sometimes the traumas actually are your guideposts. If you've made significant effort to try to clear these traumas up, but they are just standing right there, at some point you have to say, okay, fine. This trauma is actually is my guiding post. And that's not an easy place to be. So the way you figure these things out is to go deep within and find out, what do you want in life? What is it you want? And what's the best path to take to get you there for you, because you're the one who has to walk this path. You're the one who has to believe in the things that you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. So this article goes into depth a little bit more, stating about 60 years ago, we began to accelerate our usage of silver for industry. And as the greatest industrial complex known as America grew, so did its appetite for silver and other industrial metals. In fact, it grew at such a pace that we devoured the above-ground stockpile of silver at such a rate that's now gone. That's right. What took the entire world over 5,000 years to acquire was used up in 6 decades, and the above-ground stockpile has been completely eliminated. Silver differs from gold in several important ways. Most notably is that, unlike gold, silver gets used up, and then it's gone forever. Almost all the gold ever mined in mankind's history is still there. We don't really use gold for anything other than money or as a store of wealth and for decoration like jewelry. It does have uses for consciousness, and it does have life extension uses, but the mainstream doesn't realize that.
No, when it comes to silver. I mean, they're both good metals.
Yeah, we were talking about gold, though.
They're gold. If you look in the oceans, what's really cool about gold, if there's been a shipwreck, and let's say it's like 400 years old, despite it being in a place where there's just salt water and rough seas, the gold is just shimmery and shiny. It's brand new. So that says a lot for how gold can like stabilize. Silver doesn't corrode, but it also, what's fun, what I like about silver is that's how I got around my issue that I had when I was so sick and I thought that I needed antibiotics. To me, antibiotics were the way to get past my sickness, and I was in so much pain and I was just ready to jump off a bridge. I was in a lot of pain. I had to do something, but then I discovered that silver was the way I should have gone. I didn't at first, but then I discovered silver was the way to go. And that's what helped climb me up and out of that really bad place that I was in. So they both have, so much to offer, more than just, on a ring or earring or whatever. So very important metals to have for more than just one reason.
Yeah, and, again, neither of us at this point in time would use antibiotics. That's just our choice. As Cindy said, she will never use antibiotics again. I will not either. In fact, I haven't used antibiotics in like at least 25 years. Yeah, there's exactly. There are a lot of other choices. Now we do ozone weekly. Pretty much every other day we're doing ozone treatments. People are catching on to that. And colloidal silver and nano silver, if you do feel like something is going on, it's an all new way, which is actually the old way of looking at things. When you feel like you are sick, not to go too far off on a different topic, but silver, again, does have a lot of different uses. And besides the industry, it can absolutely be used as an antibiotic. We have not turned blue. We're not looking like Smurfs. And Cindy has drank gallons of it. Over the course of her life, she has drank gallons of colloidal silver and nano silver and made our own as well. So, and gold can definitely raise your consciousness. And gold is something, just put this straight out there, that the Anunnaki, it's not that they're using it for their atmosphere, they're using it as life extension. This is one of the things they don't want you to understand. Gold has life extension possibilities, and it's something that the Anunnaki utilize for that. So again, this is all stuff we want to get across to you guys as well. what do I feel most comfortable with? I would say silver. I feel the best about silver as far as any of the other options besides, trying to own a home outright, be in an area where the taxes aren't going to take your home from you. Oh man, there's been cases of people that have lost their house, not even for taxes, but for HOA fees. Like there was a case of a house that was valued at like $700,000, that a $500 HOA bill, they took the house from the people. This is just ridiculous. These laws got to be completely obliterated, and taxation needs to go away. And I know people feel cynically that it's not going to happen, but no, we're on the verge of a worldwide revolution in consciousness. This system is in its death throes, and really it doesn't have much time left. The max time that they have, I would say, is about 10 years. I don't even see them having more than 10 years at most. And they're just going to lose power as time goes on. They are going to wither away, like a vine pulled out from its roots. It is just where the system's at. So when you look at the silver to gold ratio, historically it's been 15-1. But the reality is, would silver ever come into parity? Or could it even, at some point in time, be more valued because of its use? I personally think, having silver in hand is something that would be a good idea. I do think that there's nothing to lose with that idea. Of course, obviously have some food first, have water purifications, all your basic needs, but recognize, silver could be used also for barter and trade on the side, which again, the big robber barons of the world, those families like the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers that have lived in a parasitic nature off of humanity, they don't want that. They can't, tax you. Even though some states try to tax you on barter and trade. The whole parasitic system needs to go. They're all vampires by nature. Nasty. And yet, here you go. This is China, flying taxis. The other thing that you see as you see, I don't know if that was, Saudi Arabian royalty or some, royalty from Qatar or wherever over there, getting their own, personal flying taxis. The system wants to shift power to China. The system has shifted power eastward, or westward, depends on how you're looking at it, each time it's done it. When we look at Sumeria and then shifting power over to Greece, from Greece over to Rome, the Roman Empire never really died. It ultimately became the British Empire, and then British Empire over to America, and now they're planning on shifting that power over to China because, again, China is the closest thing we have in so many ways to a complete dictatorship on a large level with over 1 billion people, 1.4 billion people. And you could see that this is the system that wants to shift power out that way. Again, what we have to do is recognize what the system does, but they're not going to, it's all going to fall apart before, they could fulfill their dreams of trying to trap people in this loop eternally. Too many people are wakening up. Sure, the majority may not be awake yet, but we have to keep working as best we can.
I think it's really important when you are in the system to be an awakened individual. I think that helps clear the path for you. I think being tapped into your instincts is very, very important when you're in the system, so that which way you want to go, so you know what's coming at you, and you're just in awareness. I mean, sometimes something might pop out and scare you, but at least for the most part, you're okay because you really have an idea of what that system is about. So then you're on your own path. You're not being guided or pushed or manipulated. You know where you're going, and that's where I think that's where I want to be.
Yeah, and while I think that system has maybe 10 years at best, At the same time, we're not going to blink our eyes and they're gone tomorrow. So there is this transition period to get through. Now, what to do in the transition period? That's a big question. Just to put it out there, we know there's been a lot of technological glitches and disruptions. And as the energy changes, what we have gotten from the guides is that the technology will not be able to tolerate the energy that is coming from the sun and also galactically. But again, that not be able to tolerate, that might be 10 years, that might be 20 years, that might be 30, 40 years before, that actually manifests in a real 3D way. So we have this interim. So what do you do in the interim? Again, I think the best thing you can do is develop a mind, body, spirit practice so you can be guided by yourself, by your higher self, who is playing out this reality right now, embodied as a human, but ultimately is an eternal being that is just simply having a human experience.
Right. I mean, it's kind of difficult sometimes to translate it from that dimension down to here, but it can be. And it doesn't mean you just have to be stuck in the 3D. You can experience other dimensions while you're here in the 3D. It's just, what path are you going to take to get there? And everyone has options. Everyone has choices. I don't think you should ever shut any door completely.
No, absolutely. And light body activation is one of the things that can bring about that knowing that so many people do have and others don't seem to even be able to comprehend. Again, these are times in which what is really, really valuable is shifting dramatically. And, again, there is a transition period to get through. So, as always, guys, we'd invite you to come join us on Patreon. Again, for as little as $1 a month right now, you can join the Patreon family over here. There are different tiers with different benefits, and some include sessions with Cindy and I on a monthly basis as well. You could reach us at Evolutionary Energy Arts at Gmail, or also EEArts, EEARTS, at hushmail.com is our new address over there as well. It's something as we move away from everything Microsoft and system as best we can. We're old farts that are getting used to some new things, but at the same time, I do think we're going back to the past in many ways. When you look at the most advanced structures on the planet, they're built of stone. It's literally. We use technology in the golden and silver ages that enabled us to have a more solid connection to the planet itself. And we chose not to live in high-rise skyscrapers surrounded by EMFs. No, we live surrounded by nature because that is ultimately what we came here for.
We're getting there.
Source bless and namaste.
Namaste.